I am an old man now. I have watched many winters pass and many friends with them. And in all my years, I have learned one thing the Western world seems to have forgotten. In Okinawa, where I come from, the women live to 100, not in beds, not in pain. They garden, they laugh, they walk to the sea. And here is what your doctor will never tell you. They do it without a single supplement, without a single diet, without any of the things you have been told you need. They do 7 small things every day, and today I will share all 7 with you. Let me speak to you the way I would if we were sitting together, just the two of us, a pot of tea between us. No hurry. These 7 practices are not my invention. They are older than any of us, passed from grandmother to daughter for 1,000 years. They keep the bones strong, the mind clear, the blood gentle, and the heart full. You do not need to move to Japan. You do not need to spend a single dollar. You need only to listen and to begin. Okinawa is a small chain of islands south of Japan. Scientists call it a blue zone, one of only 5 places on Earth where reaching 100 is ordinary, not a miracle. And of all the people there, it is the women who live longest, longer than any women on Earth. Meanwhile, and perhaps this is true for you, the woman in the West is told after a certain age to simply accept the weight that will not leave, accept the aching joints, accept the forgetfulness, the loneliness, the slow fading, as if these were the rent we pay for the years we are given. But I am here to tell you gently, they are not. These are not the price of growing old. They are the price of growing old the Western way. There is another way, and the women of my island have walked it for countless generations. There is one of these 7, the 5th, that the researchers now say is as dangerous to ignore as smoking, and almost no one in the West practices it. But we will come to that. Let us begin where every Okinawan day begins, at the table. When I was a boy, my grandmother lived to be 96. I can still see her at the low table, her hands folded before every meal, and before she lifted her chopsticks, she would close her eyes and whisper 3 words. Hara, Hachi, Ba. 8 parts full, not 10. Stop eating when your stomach is 80% full, not when the plate is empty, not when the belt grows tight, when you are simply no longer hungry. She never counted a calorie in her life. She never heard the word diet, and she outlived every doctor who treated her. Now, I know what you may be feeling. When the food is good, when you cooked it yourself, when a little still remains on the plate, it is hard to stop. I understand. I have fought this my whole life. We were raised to finish what was before us. To leave food behind felt like a sin. But when Harvard studied my grandmother's island, they found something simple. The Okinawans eat until they are satisfied, never stuffed, and they live, on average, 7 years longer than we do. You need not change what you eat tomorrow, only how much before your next meal. Whisper it as she did. Hara, Hachi, Bo. Serve yourself in a smaller bowl. Eat slowly, and when you feel satisfied, not full, set down your fork. Pause. That one pause, repeated each day. That is how a body learns to last 100 years. In Kyoto years ago, I met an old monk who tended a monastery garden. His hands were steady at 90. I asked him his secret. He laughed and poured me a bowl of green tea, thick and bright. He said, 3 cups a day, My mother did the same. She lived in 98, not the tea in bags. Matcha, the whole green leaf, ground to powder, whisked into water. The women of Japan have begun their mornings this way for centuries, always between meals, never with milk, simply tea, and a moment of quiet. Perhaps you have been told coffee is the enemy, or that nothing can be done about the bones growing thin with age. I understand the fear. After menopause, a woman's bones can weaken without a sound, until the day of a fall. Oh, but here is the gift the monk's mother knew. 3 cups of green tea a day lowers the risk of a broken hip by 30%. And a study of 3,000 Japanese and Korean women found those who drank it kept their bones far stronger after 50. Begin with 1 cup. Tomorrow morning, instead of your second coffee, whisk a bowl of matcha. Drink it slowly, looking out a window if you have one. It will calm the nerves and quiet the worry. The monk called it awake, but peaceful. 3 months of this, and your own doctor may be surprised by your next bone scan. In the market at Naha, there was a woman who sold vegetables, 85, perhaps older. Every morning she set out a green vegetable, rough and bumpy, that the tourists would never buy. Goya, she called it, bitter melon. So bitter the children cry, she told me smiling, and so it keeps us alive. The women of Okinawa have eaten Goya nearly every day for 1,000 years. They slice it thin, salt away the bitterness, and cook it with egg and tofu, a dish they call Goya shampuru. Now I know, after 50, the word sugar begins to follow a woman like a shadow. The warnings from the doctor, the fear of what is coming. It weighs on the mind. But the bitter melon holds 3 natural compounds that work like the body's own insulin. In one careful trial, Goya lowered blood sugar as well as the prescription drug it was tested against, and gentled the heart besides. You will find it in any Asian market and in some Whole Foods. If the taste is too much at first, the extract comes in a capsule. But one word of honesty, as a friend. If you already take medicine for your sugar, speak with your doctor first. Goya is powerful. Together, they can lower it too far. For the woman whose numbers are only beginning to climb, this old bitter gift may be the one that turns her path. What I will show you next is the simplest test you will ever take. It costs nothing. It takes 30 seconds. You can do it on the floor of your own living room, right now. And it predicts, with a precision that frightened even the doctors, how many years you have left. Most women over 50 would not pass it. Let us see if you can. I will tell you something I do not often admit. A few years ago, one morning, I lowered myself to the floor to sit, as I have done all my life. And for the first time, my body hesitated. A small voice asked me, "Are you sure?" That moment frightened me more than any illness. In Japan, we do not sit on chairs to eat. We sit on the floor. Seiza, we call it, knees folded, spine straight. A lifetime of rising from the floor keeps the hips, the knees, the balance alive. You may feel, as I did, that some stiffness is simply the price of the years, that it is too late. I felt that too, sitting on my floor that morning. But I was wrong, and so are you, if you believe it. A doctor in Brazil built a simple test from our Seiza. Sit on the floor, then rise, without using your hands. He found that those who could not do it were nearly 4 times more likely to die in the years that followed. So, let us try it together. Pause me if you must. Find a clear space. Lower yourself to sit on the floor and rise again, using your hands as little as you can. However you did, it tells you where you stand today. If it was hard, do not despair. Sit on the floor for 5 minutes each evening as we do at supper. In a few months, your body will remember. The Japanese never take this test. Their whole life is the test. This is the one I promised you, the practice the researchers say is as dangerous to skip as smoking. And it has nothing to do with food or exercise or medicine. It has to do with belonging. In the village of Ogimi, I knew a woman named Tsuru-san, 92 years old. Every Tuesday, the same 6 women came to her home for tea. They had come every Tuesday since they were girls. When one did not appear, another walked to her house to see why. They had done this for 80 years. This is a moai, a small circle of friends bound for life. In Okinawa, a child is placed in one at birth. They meet every week, through marriage, through children, through loss, until the very end. A woman of 80 may belong to 5. She is never alone. She is never forgotten. Now think of how it often goes in the West. The children move far away. The husband passes, for women outlive men by years. The dearest friend moves to be near her grandchildren. And one morning, a woman wakes to a house that holds only silence. If this is you, or someone you love, I am not telling you this to wound you. I am telling you because it can be undone. For the researchers found something startling. This kind of loneliness harms the body as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and it is the single strongest cause of the memory fading we fear most. This is why the women of Okinawa so rarely lose their minds to age. It is not the rice, nor the tea. It is the 6 friends who will notice if she does not come to tea. So, build your own moai. Begin with one phone call to the friend you have not spoken to in months. Then 4 or 5 women meeting once a week. Walk, cook, share both the joys and the sorrows. Begin this month, not next year. This month. Your mind depends on it. Each morning, before the village wakes, I walk among the cedars behind my home. Slowly, I do not count my steps. I am not exercising. I am listening. My mother taught me this when I was small, and I have never stopped. On the days I miss it, I feel the difference by evening. We call it Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. It is not hiking, and it asks no effort. Only walking slowly among trees, breathing deeply, letting the senses open. In 1982, my country made it official medicine, the only nation on earth to do so. Perhaps you live in a city. Perhaps there is no forest near you, and the very idea feels like a luxury for someone with more time, more health, more years. I hear that. But the trees ask nothing of you but your presence. For the trees breathe out invisible oils the Japanese call phytoncides. Breathe them in, and your body answers. The stress hormone falls by nearly half. The blood pressure eases. The cells that fight illness wake and multiply. The forest does the healing. You need only show up. Once a week, find the nearest green, a park, a garden, a single line of trees. Walk slowly, an hour for 1 kilometer. Leave the telephone in your pocket, or better, at home. Open all 5 senses. And if you truly cannot reach the trees, a few drops of hinoki, Japanese cypress oil, in your room will carry near half the gift to you. The forest will meet you wherever you are willing to be still. And now, the last of the 7, the one that holds all the others together. For what use are strong bones and steady sugar and a circle of friends if a woman has no reason to rise in the morning? In Okinawa, I asked many old women one question: why do you rise each morning? Not one of them paused. 193 said, to tend my mother's garden, which has lived longer than I have. Another, 98, to teach my great-granddaughters to weave the obi. No one else in the village remembers how. And one, 101, smiled and said, to cook for my friends. They are waiting for me on Tuesday. We call this ikigai. What calls you into the morning? Notice, not one of them said, my career, or my house, or my savings. Their reason was small, daily, tied to someone or something that needed them. And now I must ask you the hardest question of all. After the children have gone, after the work has ended, after the body has changed, what is your reason? The West will tell you, now you rest, now you are done. I tell you, that is the most dangerous lie a person can be told. For when 40,000 were followed for 7 years, those with no purpose to their days were 60% more likely to die of a failing heart. A reason to rise is not poetry, it is medicine. Your ikigai need not be grand. Ask yourself only this: what do you love? What are you good at? What does someone near you need? Where those meet, there it waits. A garden, a grandchild to teach, a friend to cook for, and take heart from what the researchers learned. For a woman, ikigai does not depend on a strong body. It depends on being needed by someone. That you can have until your final day. 7 practices, each carried by women who lived to 100, not in suffering but in joy, each one waiting for you today. Do not try to take up all 7 tomorrow. That is the Western way, all at once, and then nothing. Choose one, the smallest. Perhaps tomorrow before breakfast, you simply pause and whisper, Hara Hachibu, or you make one phone call to one old friend, or you walk this Saturday slowly among some trees. The women of my island did not become 100 years old overnight. They became 100 by doing one small ancient thing, and then another, every single day for a lifetime. I am only an old man sharing what my grandmother and her grandmother passed down to me. If even one of these 7 found a home in your heart, then come and sit with me again. Each week, I will share another piece of what the East never forgot. Next time, what the women of Okinawa eat when they first wake, before anything else. Until then, may you eat gently. May you walk among trees. May you never sit alone at your table. And may you always have a reason to wake.